All right, good morning, everyone. I see people rolling in. I think we are streaming to the Facebook Monday, August 5th, 6 o'clock. We are here. Let me check my phone and see who's on. Please say good morning. Please say good morning. If you are new and this is your first Madness series, please put a 1 in the comments or the chat. We want to see you. We want to thank you, recognize you. Good morning, Shira. I see Sandy's on. I see some, wow, there's a lot of ones popping in, you guys. Priscilla Nelson, Angie, let me look on Facebook. Who we got on here? Let me see who we got on here. We got Lynn on Facebook. There's a lot of ones. So Sandy, Kylie, Brittany, Sylvia, all of you guys. This is your first, Nicole. Let's see here. Who else? We got any first timers? We got some. This is going to be family for the next month. I was going to say we got some virgins on here. Who was that? Sherry. This is exciting, man. Sarah Grace is on. Courtney. What up, Courtney? Courtney probably getting ready for work. Who's getting ready for work right now and listening to this? Put a 2 in the chat in the comments. I see Susan Avila, good. My coach Karen Clark Elstrom just popped on. There's a lot of you guys getting ready for work. On the East Coast, it's so easy, man. Whenever I'm on the East Coast and we have calls in the morning, and I don't really have to get on the call until like 9 or 10, I've like half my day is done. And then the East Coasters will always complain about late calls too. Oh my gosh, the call's going to be at like 9 p.m. I'm like, yeah, but what about all of the gifts you get for morning calls when all of us are rolling out looking like me? I should have probably did something with my hair, but that's just kind of how it is. Well, good morning, you guys. I am so excited for today. You know, I put in a group today. I have no idea what this series is going to be like. All I know is I'm really excited for it. Something special always happens with these Madness series. And I believe that's why you see so many people get excited about them, like genuinely excited. And it's not like a promotional type of thing where you're just trying to pump people up to jump in the series. But I believe that there's a force, there's an energy that's behind these sort of series. And even before I come on, you know, I'm right back there and I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups and squats. And, you know, I'm just asking for guidance, and I'm asking for our series to be uniquely blessed, and the people that's involved with this series. And I've done enough of them over the years to know what's possible. For example, some of you guys how many of you guys are basically your new coaches to senior coach? You have not moved past senior coach yet. Please put a 3 in the chat or the comments section, please. Okay, first of all of you newer folks who this is your first Madness series and all these 3s that are popping up, I love you guys, honestly. Thank you so much for being on. I think, you know, again, I have no idea how this is going to go, but my challenge to you, my encouragement to you is stick around every day until the end, and you're going to see a lot of things change. What I have seen this series produce, I've seen this series save marriages. I've seen this series bring fathers home. I've seen this series help people stop being alcoholics. I've seen this series make men out of boys. Oh yeah, and obviously we've seen the series take coaches who have no clients at all. By the end of the month, they are at least executive director. I've seen that happen. Have you guys been here long enough? For those of you guys that have been here long enough, have you seen miracles happen from the Madness series? I've seen coaches that have been stuck for years all of a sudden have breakthroughs and awakenings. Um, I've seen people's skill sets, their mindsets, their actions. Um, I've seen people's whole. I've seen people's um, who may have moved away from whatever religious or spiritual beliefs they believe in. They moved away for years and all of a sudden got reconnected again. Um, I've seen husbands that didn't support their wives being in this business. All of a sudden, they're just listening in the background. And all of a sudden, they say, there's something different about those people. There's something different about that company. There's something different about that mission. I've seen that. I have seen kids. I've heard so many stories of parents getting involved with this series, and they're just driving their kids to work. And all of a sudden, their kids start thinking differently. They start speaking differently. All of a sudden, the scholastic education that they're getting pales in comparison to what they had just been through for those 30 days. I've seen that over and over and over again. I've seen people wake up that have been sitting at a job that didn't serve them for 20 or 30 years, and all of a sudden decide that they're going to take control of their own life and build their business. I've heard stories of mamas whose husbands have left them and they've been stuck on welfare. And from this series, they decided to resurrect their lives and the lives of their children, and all of a sudden take back control of the power that they have. I've seen a guy like me 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when we first did this, 6 years ago, who was struggling to remember who I was, and was struggling to cultivate, direct, and create the things that I wanted for my life and my marriage. Seeing a guy who was struggling through trying to figure out this business, have massive breakthroughs. So I've seen the series do a lot of things. I put up on the board there. I said, this series, yes, is going to help you build your business. There's no question about it. I already know that. I mean, particularly because our business is simple. So for those of you guys that are taking notes, maybe that's the first note that I will take. This business is simple. Now, everyone write that down for me. That's the first note, now that we're here together, that I think would be appropriate to take, that this business is simple. Everyone write that down. This business is simple. This business is simple. So Joe Albright, I see your Facebook Live. If I could lose 147 pounds on program, I can grow my business. The truth of the matter is, you don't even have to lose 147 pounds and you can grow your business. When I say this business is simple, it is. But why it's hard is because of our thoughts. You guys write that down. Why it's hard is because of the way we choose to think, the way we choose to see the world, the way we choose to see ourselves, the way we choose to see situations. It's because of our limiting beliefs. It's because of our paradigms. It's because of our philosophies. It's because of your clay. It's because you're still operating out of a mainframe, and you're operating out of an IBM system from 1985 when we clearly have iOS from 2019. That's why. That's the only reason why this business is hard. What we ask people to do, my 8-year-old son could do. We don't need any sort of advanced degrees. How many of you guys on this call got advanced degrees? How many of you guys were stellar student? I call them the SS. You were stellar students in class. How many of you guys got a job right now that the average person couldn't even do? I mean, I had a coach say something like the exuberance of your ambosity is far too copious for the dominion of my company. They started telling me about their job, and I was like, dude, that's above my pay grade. I don't know about that. I don't I don't understand what you're saying. What I can promise you is you don't need none of that stuff for coaching. You just throw all that stuff out, throw all the degrees out, throw all the big words, throw all the thinking too much about stuff, throw all the I have to be able to spell perfectly. I can't have any run-on sentences, right? The apostrophe has to be here. You could throw all that stuff out of the window. Coaching is too simple. You don't need none of that stuff. You don't need you don't need college certificates, certifications. You don't need you know you don't need none of that stuff. That's why I love coaching, because you don't need none of that stuff. The problem is people's mindsets will convince them that they need more than what they actually have. I need to lose 100 pounds in order to grow. No, you don't. No, you don't. I need to have my spouse help me in the business. No, you don't. No, you don't. I need to have more time. No, you don't. Stop that. Cut that out. It's not bright. I need to know freaking Dr. A's Habits of Health from the front to the back. No, you don't. Stop it. Are we going to get into the life book? Yeah, I need to know every page on the life book. No, you don't. I need to have a better community. No, you don't. I need to have friends that have money. No, you don't. Stop it. We're going to become brighter than that this series. I need it. No, you don't. Stop it. Cut all that out. We're not going to do that anymore. So are we going to talk about that? Yeah, we're going to do all that. We're going to do all that, right? I need to have babies. No, you don't. You just got to figure out how to become more. That's what we do. You, by the end of this series, I promise you, especially if you stay the whole time, nothing else is going to change around you. Nothing else. That same little plaque on the wall is going to be there. My guitar is still going to be here. Hopefully this little weird thing right here isn't going to be here. I have no idea why this is here. What is this? Daily mood? Who put that here? Hopefully that won't be there. But basically everything around you will be the same. Your boss will be the same. Your spouse will be the same. Taxes will be the same. Our government will be the same. Those are you guys that are driving to work. You're probably going to encounter the same sort of traffic. Hopefully my hair is not the same. Hopefully I clean this up a little bit. But basically I'll probably be wearing the same sweatshirt. I mean, basically everything else is going to be the same. Your mentorship is going to be the same. Your circle of influence is going to be the same. Facebook is going to be the same. Instagram is going to be the same. All of our platforms are going to be the same. I'm probably still going to be drinking the same hot tea. Everything's going to be the same. Your weight might be a little bit different, but hell, even if your weight is the same, you might have the same amount of kids. Your negative relatives are going to be the same. Everything's going to be the same. You're probably going to be the same age. Everything's going to be the same. You know what's not going to be the same? You're not going to be the same. And because you're not going to be the same, everything's going to change. Kind of powerful, isn't it? You're not going to have the same belief system. Hopefully, you're not going to have the same philosophies. You're not going to have the same propensity of complaining about the same things. You're not going to have the same thought processes. You're not going to be saying the same silly things. You're not going to be blaming other people. Hopefully, you're not going to be hopefully having these limiting beliefs. Hopefully, you're going to be in more action. All these things, nothing outside of us is going to change. The only thing that's going to change is you. You. capital YOU. I can tell you what else is going to change. All these people that are on right now, congratulations. For what I know for a fact is all these people that we're looking around right now, I think we got, 140 something people on right now on Zoom, and we got another 140 on the Facebook Live. What I can guarantee is all these people won't be on. There's going to be considerable drop off. You say, Jamil, why is there going to be considerable drop off? Because change is hard. If everybody was up for changing, we wouldn't have nearly half the problems we do in the world today. Certainly, I mean, if everyone was up for changing, then everyone on here would be integrated presidential director. Change is difficult. Because change is difficult, what happens is we convince ourselves that we can't do things. Isn't that true? How many of you guys have ever been in a situation in your life to where you decided you're going to make some changes in your life? Maybe it's in your marriage, maybe it's the way that you parent, maybe it's losing some weight, maybe it's building your business. But whatever those changes are, one day you sat down and you say, you know what? Come Monday, I'm done. I'm through. I'm about to make these changes. I'm about to learn how to cook. I'm going to learn a different language. I'm going to get this weight off. I'm finally going to improve my marriage. I'm going to start running. I'm going to build some muscles. I'm going to get quick. I'm going to do that half marathon. I'm going to do all this stuff. And you're excited, man. Monday comes, August 5th, let's go. Everything's about to change. I wrote out my goals last night. I'm focused. Heck, I got up this morning. I drank some water. I did like 3 sit-ups. I'm ready. And then life starts happening. I'm going to tell you this story. Last night, Amanda has this thing that's going on with her head. So we've been up all night. The baby has been up all night. You have you link a couple of those days together, about 4 of those days, and all of a sudden, those goals aren't that important anymore, right? It's like I wanted to learn a new language, but not if I have to stay up for 4 nights in a row. Then that 5th day, we're like, I don't really want to learn that new language. I said I was going to get healthier and lose some weight, but man, we just had this new project come up at work. My boss has stressed me out a little bit more. I don't really want to lose that weight. Man, I know I said that I was going to finally build in some healthy financial habits and I was going to start building my wealth, but shoot, we had some things come up. We have some friends that really want to go on some trips. Man, there's this new vintage wine that came out. I have my significant other doesn't really have the same philosophies. I don't really care about building that well. Doesn't this happen? So that's what's going to happen to a couple of you guys. And we're gung-ho right now. We're like, yeah, let's go. Let's roll. Do you know the difference between people? I was writing about this in the second to last chapter in my book. I said, success is a battle of wants. That's what I wrote in the book. Write that down. Success is a battle of wants. We're going to really want something, but we're going to really want something else. One of the first things I asked us to do last night was to write down all of our goals, right? When that challenge 1, and I said, drop it in the comments for accountability. I know that you guys want that. Put a 4 in the comments or the chat if that's on your heart and you feel supremely called to do those things. You feel impressed upon to do those things. You really want to do those things. You really want to do those things. You want to do those things. If those things could happen, oh my gosh, we could start crying right now, right? If those things could happen, I was reading some of them, I could come to tears just from reading some of them. If those things could happen, I would resurrect my whole family's legacy. I could be a chain breaker, Jamil. You don't even understand. If those things could happen, if I could finally get that weight off, Jamil, you don't even understand, man. You don't even understand what that would do. If I could finally earn that income, you don't even understand what that would mean. Man, I would love to do that. Man, if I could finally run that marathon, Jamil, you have no idea. I know you kind of think that you know, but you don't really know. Man, Jamil, if I could finally improve that relationship, if I could finally pick up that phone call and call my mom, if I could finally, you don't even understand, Jamil, if I could finally control my own days, you don't even know what that would do for me. How many of you guys are like that? How many of you guys really, really, really want to attack and to cultivate those things that you wrote down? How many of you guys want that? I see Mitch said, yep, I want it. I sat down and I talked to Mitch. Mitch lights up when he starts talking about the things that he wants, when he starts talking about the freedom that he wants, when he starts talking about his visions for moving back to Florida, having one place in Florida and then moving with his wife and creating new businesses and enterprises and real estate in Costa Rica, where she's from. He lights up. You should have been there. I'm getting chills right now. We're sitting on the couch and he's thinking out into the future. And he's saying Jamil, and his pupils are dilating. He's getting excited, and there's a spirit that's running through him and it's flowing through me. And I could sense he's painting the picture so well that vividly I'm connected and I'm thinking, oh my God, I want to be there with you. That's what Mitch wants. That's what you want. That's what I want. And I think about the things that I want. Problem is, want to know what the problem is? Want to know what the challenge is? The challenge is you're going to want something else. You're going to get tired right around 4 consecutive days of doing this, 5 consecutive days of doing this. You're not going to want to get up. Now you got 2 competing wants. You really want to go and create those things that you wrote down, but you really want to sleep in. What do? Success is a battle of wants. You're going to start doing some of these things that we're going to ask you to do. And the voices in your head is going to say, don't do that. They're going to think. And you're going to want to be scared. And you're going to want to not do the actions. So what do? Now you got 2 competing wants. You want to go and create the things in your life and in your future, but you also want to stay comfortable. What do? That's a fundamental question. People ask me all sorts of silly questions these days. And in my mind, I'm saying it's just a competing wants situation. Listen, I would highly encourage everyone on here to set their next goals and to reach their next goals when it comes to their physical health. These Madness series is one of the easiest ways to get back on track with your own health. Why? Because every single day you got somebody who's going to be talking to you, who's going to be coaching you, who's going to be inspiring you. Every single day, you're going to have a community of hundreds of people that are on fire about doing more than they believe they can even do. Every single day, we're asking you to get up early So if you're already getting up at, 5 a.m. here on the West Coast, why not get up and actually set your intentions and set an exercise routine and set a routine for that day? It just makes it easier. So some of you guys have these goals to drop some weight this month, right? To stay on program, to get back into a really, really good fat burn. That's what you want to do. You want to be freed up. You want to get the pain off your lower back. You want to get the pain off your knees. You want to get the pain out of your mind. Your physical weight is ruining your mental and emotional weight. Am I lying? Or do I know a little bit of something about this business and the way that people think? So all that stuff is going on. So these are the things that you want. You want to be freed up. But right around 9:30 tonight, you're going to get that craving. And that craving is going to be calling for some milk chocolate. That craving is going to be calling for some crackers. That craving is going to be calling for a glass of wine. And now you got two competing wants. I want to be freed up with getting this weight off, but I also want this glass of wine. What the hell do I do? What do I do? Now I got two competing wants. And once I decide to go with that glass of wine, or I decide to slice a little bit more cheese and throw in that crackers, or I decide to doctor up my damn lean and green a little bit more because Sandy's Kitchen said that I could. I decide to do this over and over and over again. You know what your brain now tells you? Your original wants weren't that really important to you. And we forfeit the blessings that are waiting for us on the other side of making these decisions. This is what is going to happen in this series. You are not going to see by the end of the 30 days all these people that are on. And it's not because they can't. It is because growth is challenging. Making those choices are challenging. Battling your mind is challenging. Stop drinking so much when you know you're an alcoholic. It's challenging. Stop eating so much when you know that you're a foodie and a foodaholic. It's challenging. To stop allowing negative and low and limiting beliefs into your paradigm is challenging. This business is not challenging. All that other stuff is challenging. So we go to work on that in this series. August Madness. Why do you think it's called Madness? We're about to be a little crazy. It's about to be a little crazy over the next couple of days. So my challenge to you is, what are you going to do? I just told you what's ahead of you. I just told you you're not going to want to get on. I just told you you're going to say things like, I'll just catch that playback, knowing you're not going to catch the playback. I just told you these things are going to happen. I just told you that you're not going to, I'm going to say something as simple as, hey, I want you to pick up your phone. I want you to record a 60-second video. I want you to tell someone how freaking inspired you are by them. And I want you to send that off. Seems rather simple, right? Some of you guys will make this the hardest thing in the world to do. Even though it's so simple. I didn't ask you, what I didn't ask you to do was to break out the Encyclopedia Britannica and freaking remember the first 23 pages and then recite them back to us. That's not what I said, right? I'm gonna challenge some of you guys to lay down your egos. I'm gonna challenge some of you guys to get over your stuff. I'm gonna challenge some of you guys to go back to that person that did you wrong 20 years ago that you're still harboring a resentment towards. I'm gonna ask you to go back to them and to call them up and to clear that up. you're not going to want to do it. I'm letting you know what's coming. And you're not going to want to do these things. So my encouragement is to do all of it. This is how I know how this series is. Yes. It's like my talk from stage the other day at convention. Yes. You're going to grow your business. Yes. It is going to happen. We know that. That's so easy for us now. It's like when your clients don't believe they're going to lose weight on the 5-in-1 and you're like, everyone knows you're going to lose weight on a 5-in-1. That's not what I'm concerned about. Like, that's already done. I already know you're going to build your business in this series. That's been proven. What I don't know is, will you be here at the end? And will you actually do the work? And will you be okay with doing some of these things that your mind is going to tell you not to do? Because if we all do that collectively, 300, 400, 500 people, what do you think is on the other side of that? Just listen to me. If all of us collectively, 300, 400, 500 people, in the next 30 days, we turn around these things and we start trending towards these things that we want to create. If we all do that, outside of us, on the other side of us, on the other side of those choices, there's like thousands of people that are going to be improved from all of us doing what we need to do in this series. So your selfish decisions to chase towards your dreams, your goals, your desires, the things you want to create for yourself, from your own selfish decisions, outside of you, there's going to be thousands of people that are going to be impacted. If that's cool, I mean, does that only amaze me or does that amaze you too? From all those things that you wrote down, your own kind of selfish, right? Selfish decisions, it's okay to say that. From striving towards your goals, your dreams, the things you want to create, there's all these people that are about to be freed. Isn't that amazing? Maybe it's just me. So let's talk about how we got here. By the way, this always happens. This is going to happen all series. Listen, I'm just the beginning guy. I'm not the leader in this thing. We're about to have some tremendous leaders jump on here over the next few days. When you talk about, the Karen Elstroms of the world and the Emily Florises of the world and the Justin Abinis and the Bombas and Annika and Carol Ann, all these people, right? We have all these people. Jen Paxton's going to jump in here, Stephanie Goka. We'll have all these people. I'm just a beginning guy. But what I know about me is they never go the way I've intended. So I'm already 34 minutes into this thing. And I wasn't even planning on talking about all that stuff. But you guys should sit back and relax. So how did we get here? Well, obviously we got here because of Dr. A. I think someone messaged me the other day, which I really appreciate the message because I never even thought about this. But she says basically, hey, I was thinking about doing that August Madness series, but, I saw that a requirement was to have the life book. And I don't have, I don't have the life book, or I'm not sure that, I don't remember really how it went. But it was basically, I'm not sure if I want to join the series, if that's a requirement, and I'm not into selling people, and I'm not getting this all correct. So if you're on, pardon me, I didn't say it correctly, but it was something like that. And so my reply to her was, no, please join the series. Even if you don't have a life book, things are going to change. That's not a requirement. But what I encouraged her was, I want you to join this series because you're going to learn that we're actually not trying to get people. We're not trying to sell people. And that was one of the hardest things for me. But I told you this business is simple. What's not simple is changing your belief systems. My belief system, my paradigm, my mindset was presenting to me all these things that were not true. This is why my book is called The 12 Shifts. Over my last 7 years here, I've had 27 shifts when things that I believed to be true when I started as a coach to things that now I know are not true. So how do you believe something to be true when you started as a coach and now you know it's not true? For example, I used to believe that it would be difficult to turn my annual income into my monthly income. And then I had a shift that that's not difficult. All of you guys right now, write down what your annual incomes are. Write it down. You don't have to share it with us, but take notes and write that down. What is your annual income? You guys got that written down? What's your annual income? Okay. So now my challenge to you is why not turn that annual income into your monthly income? How would things be different for you and the people that are around you? If every single month you could earn what you earn all year, if not more. That was a shift for me. I never even considered that as a possibility as a new coach. That was a shift. That was one of the 27 shifts. The moment I realized that I'm not only capable of earning in a month what I used to earn all year, but I'm actually supposed to. And so are you. That was a shift. That was a new way of thinking. That was a new way of believing. That's what we call a shift. That was a paradigm shift. That was big for me. So let me ask you, how would things be different if you turn your annual income into your monthly income? And then take it a step further. How would things be different if you turn now that new monthly income, which used to be your annual income, into your weekly income? It's a new way of thinking, isn't it? Let me ask you something. Why are you not striving for that? Why is that something you're not striving for? Is there any particular reason? Is it because the way that you live your life is based off of what your current circumstances are? One of the shifts for me was, why don't I create and design what I want my current and future circumstance to be? And all of a sudden I start living from that. And so that's what we do now. I told you, but is that hard to do? No, that's actually quite simple to do. What's hard to do is for you getting to a place where you believe that that's not only possible, but that's possible for you. And quite frankly, you're doing, I'm going to speak freely this whole series, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but quite frankly, you're doing your creator a disservice when you don't do it. So let me get off that, and let me move off that box a little bit. So how did we get here? Well, Dr. A had a mission about 18 years ago, and he was quite fed up about working in the current medical model, where as a critical care physician, he spent a lot of time operating on people and trying to do the best that he could to save people, and he would see the sickest of the sick, and there's some really intimate stories in there as well. And he was just getting tired. He was 15, 16, 17 years into practice. He was at the top of his game. People would fly in from all over the world to come and see him. He was a grand poobah. And he was getting tired. He wasn't seeing his family. He was working too much. He was starting to put on too much weight. And he had a shift, man. It was the same thing that I had in September of 2012 when I was just like, this isn't working for me. This isn't the life that I want. I need to go and now start to create the life that I want. And so after a night, he had already been feeling this way. And he went to go operate on a patient that had HIV. And one of his attending nurses, they drew blood from this patient. And anyway, somehow he got stuck by the needle, and that freaked him out. And that was just sort of like the straw. And he doesn't tell that story from stage, but that story is true from what I've heard, and I've heard it from him. So anyway, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. To this model isn't working. This way of living is not working for me. There's got to be something different. I believe that I could change things. I believe that I could create something that teaches people how to change their habits and how to take back control of their own life, their own physical life, mental and emotional life, and their financial life, and not be sitting around dependent on other people or me as a physician or anything, right? To where we truly can do all things. And so he left. He bounced out, spent all of his money to create a new way of doing things. And he created a company called Health Inventions at the time. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to have a network of health coaches that partnered with people to teach them his system of how to get yourself healthy. And people thought he was absolutely crazy. Don't people sometimes think you're crazy as a coach? Don't you sometimes think people think something that they actually don't even think? But in his community, that was just asinine. Why? How could you lead as running a surgical facility? How could you leave with all the clout that he had? How could you just walk away? What were you going to do? What do you mean you don't want to be a doctor anymore? You graduated first of your class. You're the 10th board critical care physician ever. What do you mean? You're just going to leave, bro? Like, can you imagine what that had to be like? Like, I'm just going to leave. I'm done. What are you going to do? I'm not sure. I'm going to go create some company that teaches people how to be healthy. Can you imagine what that must have been like? And some of us are like, well, my sister's cousin's brother's aunt thinks that I'm crazy for doing this. Can you imagine what that had to be like for Wayne Scott Anderson back then to just say, I'm going to leave. In my prime, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go do something else. Isn't that nuts? Well, that's what he did. So he left and moved his family to Portland, Oregon. He started Health Inventions from the basement. As you hear, so many brilliant companies are started from somebody's basement or garage. And, him and his late wife, Lori, they just sought out to do something that was huge. They didn't know if it was that it would work, but they set their goals. Same thing you guys did last night, right? Or the day before, or you put up on that post. They just said, this is what I want to do. This is what I believe is possible. And so they started working at it. The big problem was they couldn't figure out a way to help, help people lose weight and have that weight be sustainable and stuff. But him being a physician, him being associated with a lot of physicians, people were telling him about this company called MediFast. It's proven, it's science-based. It's, has a great model for providing these meal replacements, these products to physicians. You should go meet with them. So Dr. A calls up the CEO of Medifast, a guy by the name of General Brad McDonald at the time. He says, let's meet. I got this amazing kind of vision. You got a great company over here, but you guys are lacking in a lot of areas. Let's see if we can partner up and, really bring this thing together. Me with my Habits of Health and my coaching organization, you with the great products and fuelings that you have. So they did in Baltimore one day at a Ravens game up in the press boxes, and they hit it off. And now you have this fusion of visions. And so at that time, the company was now changed to what we call Take Shape for Life. That's what the name of it was when I started as a coach 7 years ago. But there's always been a little bit of challenges up until lately. We rebranded to Optavia, which is a complete lifestyle brand. It's amazing. As soon as we rebranded, everything started exploding. We were stuck at about 12, 13 coaches for years. And now all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, there's almost close to 28,000 coaches. I believe next year at convention, by the way, please go register for next convention. That was a clue, by the way. A lot of clues are going to be dropped in the series. That was one. But as soon as we rebranded, listen, I think that I was the 13th integrated presidential director with the company. I'm pretty sure that's true. So at that time, Take Shape for Life had only been around for maybe 14, 15 years. Okay. Literally maybe 2 years after that, I think the second year, maybe after I hit integrated presidential director, maybe 2 or 3 years after, there was something like 13 to 20 new integrated presidentials just that year. So it took 13, 14, 15 years for 13 IPDs. And then all of a sudden in 1 year, you had like 20. Why? Because this business, you guys, especially now, is not hard. The business is not hard. What's hard is this. What's hard is you believing that your annual income should be your weekly income. That's the only thing that's challenging. Once you fundamentally believe that and that shift happens, the change happens so stinking fast. I've seen it throughout my career here to where I had a shift and then I was like, wait, no, I'm supposed to do that. And within months, that happens. Years, that never happened. As soon as I had a shift in here in my mind, I said, no, I'm supposed to be integrated presidential. And within 2 months, 3 months, that's what happens. See what I'm saying? So that, whatever it takes to do that is not hard. What it takes to correct this is hard. So we're going to go to work on that. So anyhow, so obviously, I started coaching. When I started coaching, I quit right away. After about 2 weeks of coaching, I quit. I said, man, this is too hard. I told you growth is painful. Growth is hard. So I quit. I was like, I don't need this. Clients aren't listening. I don't need this. I'll just go back to, working my full-time job and being broke. No, I'm just kidding. But I quit. And when I came back, I had a chance to go to a national convention, which so many of you guys went to your first national convention. And I've spoken to so many of you guys and you thought that was a great decision, right? So anyhow, went to my first national convention. I was rocked. I saw that we weren't just trying to get people, we were trying to save people. That's a big difference. I would write that down. That this company wasn't trying to get people. This company was trying to save people. And it was a mission. It was a mission to bring hope freedom, joy, love, prosperity, family, mission, value. It was all of that wrapped up in one. And I could be a part of it. And I just wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of something that brought freedom back into people's lives. I wanted to be part of a mission. I wanted to be part of something that was bigger than me. That because of the action steps I took, even when I'm dead and gone, people's legacies would be changed. And it was because Jamil decided to do something. And my legacy could be changed. I realized at that point that all the things that I wanted to create in my life and my future, I could do by helping other people change their lives and their futures. And all I had to do was find it. So I sat on that mission and I set my intentions to reach this thing called Global Director. I didn't really care about Global Director, but I saw that the average Global Director earned about $18,000 a month. At that time, I was only earning maybe like $8,000 a month for my full-time job. And what I saw at my first convention was that I could be free. I could impact the lives that I wanted, which I desperately wanted to at that point. I could earn the income that I wanted, but I could do it not being tied down to anything. And I really wanted that. And so the $18,000 actually was not that important. What was important was what it represented. And at that time, my marriage was failing. We had literally been talking about splitting up houses and my son going back and forth to my wife's new apartment and the apartment I was staying in. And many of those fights were based off of lack of finances. Many of those fights were based off of lack. Yes, finances is one of them, but lack in general. So write that down. Lack, scarcity, poverty mindset. That's what most people have. That's what I had. Lack, scarcity, poverty mindset. We didn't have enough. That was one of our biggest things was we were constantly trying to figure out a way to not struggle. Like we weren't living in abundance. And when I say this, I know some of you guys are just hearing money. That's not what I'm talking about. We weren't living in abundance of love, of vitality, of vision, of mission, of connectiveness, of relationships, of spirituality. We weren't living in abundance. We were stuck in lack. Even our mindsets were lack. I'd be thinking, oh, I wish that I could just, earn a little bit more. Why? Because it was lack of scarcity, it was poverty. So anyway, I figured if I could start earning about 18 grand a month, then I wouldn't have to have these financial fights anymore. And Amanda, my wife, could just do whatever it is that she wanted to do. So that's what I set out to do. From the time I left convention, I said, I'm going to hit this thing called Global Director. And 8 months later, we hit Global Director. Now, when we hit Global Director, we hit Global Director with 6 executive director lines of business. To hit global, you only need 5. We hit it with 6. So how did we do that? Part of what we did, I got to get my story straight. I'm becoming an old man now. I forget these things. Well, anyway, we hit Global Director in the month of March 2013. And we had all these people hit Executive Director, and many of them hit Executive Director within, one girl hit Executive Director in 2 weeks, but many of them did it in about a month and a half, at the most 2 months. And so I thought, man, March is a really powerful month because we have all these people going to Executive Director. And then throughout the next months in that year, life became increasingly more difficult. And so I didn't maintain the same level of success in many ways that I did that March. And so I had to figure out, how do I rebuild this business? And then in basically December of that same year, I was in a hotel room in basically Pismo Beach, California, on the coast. And I've been through this incredible transformation of just really diving into personal development and learning how to grow a little bit. And it dawned on me that, you know, one of the things that was so powerful to me was convention. When I had convention, nothing else changed outside of me. The only thing that changed was me. So while I was in a hotel room, I was like, why don't I just figure out a way to bring convention environment to all of our coaches? So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do like this. I'm going to do this kind of like series where I just ask people, hey, who wants to strive for more this month or for your life? Who wants to go and reach executive director? Who wants to just start on this path of just going and blessing a ton of people, but you taking this vehicle called Optavia and now using it to reach your goals in life as well? Who wants to do that? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that in March, because last year we had all these people hit executive director in March. So March rolls around. I put a statement out in a group. Hey, who wants to just go kill it for 30 days? Let's just see what happens, right? Let's set our intentions. Everyone on this line, you're reaching executive director or higher. That's what we said. People were like, I don't have any clients, Jamil. I was like, I don't care. I learned all this stuff. If you just set your intentions, it can happen. And I'm sure some people thought I was nuts, right? So a small group of us just jumped on the phone every day. We didn't have video and all this stuff, but we jumped on the phone on a conference line. And every morning at 6, we just got on. And I said, I'm going to teach you this thing from A to Z. By the end of this series, you're going to know everything that you need to know as a coach. You ready? They're like, yeah. I was like, we're going to go out there and help a lot of people. You ready? They were like, yeah. So out of the 20 or something people, isn't that funny? 20 or something people we had on there, like 6, 7, 8 hit executive director. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I just kind of made that up. I didn't even know if it would work, but dang, it worked. So I didn't want to stop it. I had a lot more energy and stamina back then. So we did the same thing the following month in April. Same results. A little bit more people jumped on. Then I was like, man, I don't want to stop this. I'm about to do it again in May. 30 straight days. Let's go. So we did the same thing in May. Same kind of results. And then, of course, we hit presidential director like a couple months later. But that's when I realized that there's something special about these series. You can set your intentions and any goals that you want. And even if you don't hit it, you're going to be a heck of a lot closer, because you're going to be a much better person. And from you being a much better person, yeah, it just so happens you're going to go help more people. So your skills are going to improve in this series. You're going to become better. Hopefully you're inspired to get into more action. But the biggest thing that probably is going to change, especially if you force yourself to stay every single day, is your mindset is going to change. You're going to realize that everything about this business is a battle of your mind. That's it. Your mind is an expert at telling you that you can't do something. And so one of the biggest things that this series is going to do is hopefully help you shape your paradigm. I've already started. By the way, when I said, hey, what's your annual income? And I said, turn that annual income into your monthly income, the majority of you got nervous. And the majority of you said, I can't do that. That's not possible. That is a mindset challenge. So hopefully by the end of this series, you don't do that anymore. You realize that, yeah, that's what you're going to start doing about it. Do that right. Yeah, of course. course I'm supposed to, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah. Oh, a client fell off program? Whatever. Oh, coach decided to leave? Oh, your spouse wasn't supported? Whatever. I can't drop 5 pounds this week? My kid didn't go to sleep for 5 days in a row? Whatever. Can you imagine 500 coaches walking around doing it? They'd be like, what the hell's wrong with those people? Please don't do that in a big group. Just do that individually, maybe when you're driving. Don't do that collectively. I don't want people to call the police on us. All sorts of weird stuff happening. We don't need those sorts of problems. So let me get you guys out of here. So every day, let me just open up the page here. Everybody, you guys are crazy. Why are you guys laughing? But you see what I'm saying, though. If you could just walk around being so bulletproof and like nothing fades, you're like, yeah. Like, obviously, supposed to do that. Obby. That's what my son is saying now. I'm like, Ezra, what is wrong with you? That was lit, Dad. Lit? What does that even mean? Obby. So please, as a group, don't be walking around doing, they're going to think something's wrong with us. So I wanted to just show you something real fast, and then we'll get you guys out of here. I see people hopping off. Must mean I'm over time. By the way, I'm rarely on time with these things, but let's see what happens. Okay, so this was this call here is what we call foundations. We're just getting things set up. Has it been good so far? Has this been a good 60 minutes so far? Okay, so here's the deal. This is our August Madness group. You guys got this? Is there anyone that's on here that's not in this group? Put a 8 in the comments here. So what you want to do is you want to join this group here. Okay, this is Command Central. This is where we're going to do everything. We're doing these calls in the morning, which are great. You guys get to see my handsome face, but everything goes down in this group. So one of the things I wanted you to do already, if you followed directions, was to do challenge number 1. Every day we're going to have a challenge. These are going to be actions that we're going to do. Look, the miracle doesn't happen unless you do the work. So it's going to be very simple instructions. For example, all of these are simple instructions. None of these ask you to know quadratic formulas or anything like that. This is very simple stuff. Ask you to watch a 5-minute video. See how I told you this business is not simple or hard? All this stuff is easy to do. Problem is, it's easier not to do it. So hopefully we're going to advance in our thinking patterns in a way that we do things. One of the things I want everyone to do is click on here, notifications, and then get notified for all posts. Well, Jamil, I'm working all day. You know, I don't want to get notified for all posts. Look, this is a very simple series. We give action steps. You do the action steps. That's how simple it is. It's going to be like when Daniel's son went to Mr. Miyagi. Remember when Daniel went to learn karate in a Karate Kid? And Mr. Miyagi had this dude doing all these weird things. And he didn't know that he was actually being trained on how to fight until he got into a fight. So even though I'm asking you, we're going to be asking you to do things that seem weird, and you're not going to, I told you, you're not going to want to do half the things. Just fight against that. Just say that I'm going to do every single thing that they ask for the next 30 days, and let's see what happens. See, I told you, it's simple to just do that, right? But I told you your mind is going to mess with you. The other thing is, I want you to pin this group to your shortcuts. That way it's very easy to access. You just go right here to your shortcuts and you have it right there, okay? Now, in the files here, we're going to have daily recordings here for you to watch. Now, we don't really need daily recordings because we have Facebook Live streaming into the group. The one thing I know is people go crazy when they don't have recordings. Jamil, where's the recording? I'm like, what do you mean? We just did a Facebook Live. All you got to do is go scroll in the group. Jamil, got to have the recording. So we got the recordings there, okay? We got the recordings for you. So you can find those in the file. Jamil, where's the recording? But just scroll down. You'll see the Facebook Live. No, I got to have the recording. So we got the recording there. We're going to be posting in the next couple of days. We're really going to get into action posting before and after pictures. So instead of you guys having to go all these different places to get those before and after pictures in the stories, then we've asked you to put yours here. So now we have hundreds of stories and before and after pictures here. Now we need a little bit more diversity. So you African American coaches or Asian coaches, we need you to start throwing your pictures in here so we can have some diversity. Some of our elderly coaches, right? I'm just kidding, man. I'm not, only because I know Joy and Beanie is watching, but we need more diversity. So if we could have more people sort of put your stories and your pictures here, that would be helpful so that we can impact more people. Does this make sense? So this is Control Central. This is where we're going to be doing everything. So every single day we're going to have a challenge. Our sort of goal is to just sort of, I see you, Joy. So what we want to do is just do what's on there. Does that make sense? So, you know, today was a good day. I really didn't talk about anything that I wanted to. I was supposed to talk about what you need to know. I was supposed to talk about goals and how to set them. I saw a lot of you guys write out your goals, but you didn't write them out correctly. So I was going to talk about how to do that. I was going to talk about action steps. I was going to talk about all this stuff, but we didn't get into it, which is okay. We don't need it right now. Today was just about family. Today was about setting our intentions. Today was about setting the foundations. Today was about making a commitment. One of the hardest things for human beings to do is to be committed to their own commitments. So today was about making a commitment, understanding what it's going to take, and understand that you probably, you don't know, you may not believe, but all I ask, my encouragement is just to see it all the way through. Something special happens in the series. I believe it's divine. And always at the end of it, it's going to be September 1st or whatever, and we're going to do the last call and we're going to have takeaways. You're going to see August 30th, you're going to see all these people ranking up, right? Advancing their businesses. You're going to see all these people talking about how their marriages have been restored and all the things I talked about at the beginning of this thing. That is going to happen. That's 26, 27 days away. Question is it going to happen for you? And that's what you need to decide. So I would really meditate on that today. So I'm going to put up the challenges for us today. Let's have fun with this. Remember, it's not a difficult series. We're going to say to do things. Your job to make it very simple is to simply do them. At the end of 30 days, let's see what happens. Let's see if you've grown. And let's see if there's more people around you that's being helped because of that. You guys okay with that? All right, you guys. Great first day. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited for you guys to hear all the other, I'm the sucky guy in the group. I mean, all these other people are going to get on and just freaking crush it and rock your world. I'm so excited for you guys to learn from all these other leaders, and it's going to be crazy. So let's get this thing done. Welcome to the first day of August Madness 2019. I'll put the challenge up soon. Talk to you guys soon.